Hey, y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite R&B songs. I am naturally Elise, and that is my brother,
JR.
and we are the R&B representatives. And we are welcoming back a very familiar face, who we affectionately call the Young Soul King, also known as Monty the Music Man, but it is Kemani. Hey, nephew.
Hey, it's good to be back once again.
Yes.
Like Luther would do. Yeah.
How's it going, man?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. How about y'all?
I'm great.
I'm good. I'm good.
Um,
Yes.
oh wow. I'm feeling good in the neighborhood. But yes, I think folks already know you, Kamani, and if they don't, they need to figure it out. But how about you tell us what song you picked for us to talk about today, and do you remember hearing it for the first time?
Oh, wow. It's like I do when I always come back. I always have to think real deep. As far as like thinking about stories in which I, remember if I remember vividly, like, discovering a song or what have you. But the one that I thought about and the one that came to fruition in the front of my mind very recently was Stay in My Corner, the 1968 version of Stay in My Corner by the mighty Dells. Yes, indeed. Yeah, one of my one of my favorite ballads ever. And I remember first time I heard it actually was on the Five Heartbeats soundtrack.
I knew
And
that was going to be the answer.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that was it. My parents had the DVD and it had the soundtrack within that DVD actually. So it was like that's like kind of like my second, even though they're not a real group, like that was like behind the Temptations miniseries. That was like if that wasn't available, I have the Five Heartbeats. That was like one of the first like radar movies that I watched like as a kid. So I kind of like it was kind of like a stamp on my on my chest. I'm like, hey, oh, R-rated movie as a but anyway, um, I took the CD out of it because CDs were like my babies at that particular time in my life, and I remember playing it. All the songs from the movie I loved. The App 7 version. Like Nights Like This I Wish, and like In the Middle, Nothing But Love, all that good stuff from the movie. And then the funny thing about it, I think Stay in My Corner was like track 8 out of like 10 tracks, I think. And I will always skip it actually because like as a kid, I was always like, it was always like my fat because I had like as a kid, like you have so much like energy and stuff. Like so you like I like my fast tempos, I like my mid tempos and stuff. But like when by the time you get the sad songs, either I skip them or I'm just like, okay, we gotta pick up the pace just a little bit more. But like um I will always because there was even like on the because on the soundtrack, like there's so many up tempos. So like when
Yeah.
you so, so when like by the time you can Stay in My Corner on the CD, it's like, all right, let's skip like even like it's funny. It's funny because like I never like I think because like I was a guy's kid growing up, like, okay, feel like going on closing out the soundtrack. I'm like, okay, cool. So but one particular day, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this Stay in My Corner a chance. And I think because I recognized Johnny Carter and Marvin Jr.'s voice because I remember there was a CD compilation that I found like at Target. It was like a compilation of like 60s groups. It was like 14 tracks. And the funny thing about that particular CD was like 9 out of those 14 tracks were straight Motown groups. that was like my perspective. I was like, Jesus Christ, Motown was taking over the 60s. But anyway, one of the other 5 was, Oh What a Night by the Dells, and their 1969 version of that. So that was my introduction to the Dells, and I was just so like intrigued by Marvin Jr.'s voice, like his so much power out of that big old body. I was like, man, that's what made like I'm not too like deep in their catalog, but like the stuff that I do like by the Dells, like I'm just like blown away every time I hear it. But I got to Stay in My Corner that this one particular night after school, and I just let it play, and I was just you know, it just took me on a dimension. And I think it was my first time in which like I started appreciating like the longer songs, like the 6 minute, 7 minute, 8 minute joints. Like that was, I think that was one of the first ones that I remember like vividly like listening to and being like, I'm enjoying the adventure that this is taking me on. So yeah, and I just loved it. And I think as I grew older and then having a, you know, a more like kind of like in-depth understanding of like love and relationships and stuff, you know, it kind of formed like a deeper connection, like actually like listen to the lyrics and stuff.
Mhm.
And I'll get into that in a minute actually. That was just, yeah, it's just a great song, a great ballad, a great message of togetherness. And you know, and musically it's just, you know, it's very big. The way it's arranged, I think Charles Stephanie did it, the arrangements on that. That's what I think, without me knowing. That's, yeah, first time I heard it like that, I didn't realize that that was Charles Stepney doing the arrangements. And looking back on it, it's like it makes so much sense because like of how big it is, you know, and certain people's on that song. So it's like, yeah, just a great song, just a great song.
Mhm. Yeah, one of the things, this is so I have loved this song my whole entire life.
Hmm.
And if I were on the show and you asked the first time I heard it, I just don't ever remember a world without it. I don't remember it not being, whether it's in a movie, whether it's in a grocery store. Uh,
Yeah.
it's just one of those canon, you know, classic songs. It's a standard at this point, I think.
Yeah.
But you know, it's what I love about it is how it just keeps swelling and swelling, like the intensity of the emotion, the grittiness of every singer, you know, like it just gets grittier and grittier throughout the song. Like it's like, oh, I think they mean that. Really? Yeah. Come on over to my corner, like, and stay put, like,
Uh-huh.
you know. Um, and that's why I love it because it's just it's very dramatic. And it starts off like kind of so innocently. You don't know what you're gonna get in the end of it if you do remember the first time you heard it. Like you weren't expecting all of that.
Right.
Shoot. Okay, so this is funny with my mom
Oh.
loved the Dells. She loves them. So I just remember as a kid one day where were we on campus? Yes, we were on campus during this time. And I was saying how we would listen to this radio station that they would always play on Fridays on
Mhm.
campus. And I just remember that day this he was playing a lot of Motown, which I was in a good world because my mom loves Motown too. So I was there with her because this is when I'm starting to learn music for myself.
Mhm.
Then he started to slow it down a bit. And I'm like you, Kemani, during this time, I'm young. I don't want to hear no ballads. Like I don't want to hear this slow stuff. So he started to play the flamingos, right? I only have eyes for you, right? So he plays that, and then he goes into stay in my corner. So mind you, me not knowing and not being the research people that we are now, I'm like, are they part of Motown too? Like, for real? And my mom was like, first of all, the Flamingos were not. And she was like, the Dells, no, they're not. But she was like, Barrett Strong wrote the record, which Barrett Strong is the
Mhm.
guy that
Oh,
did I Want the Money record.
right.
That's what I want. So he wrote that. And then after that, then they, Kamani's talking about the 1968 version is
Mhm.
with Bobby Miller, who
Right.
Bobby Miller, and y'all know I love Eddie Kendricks, and he did Date with the Rain, and he's on that, you know what I'm saying? So them two had a relationship. So I
Okay.
just remember going there and getting a history lesson again from my mother. But I just remember that song being so dramatic.
Mhm.
And like, again, y'all know I'm very dramatic. So that song, Watch It, Lady. And I said, and I said, oh, it actually caught me. Even though I wasn't in that ballad thing, I'm like, it's so dramatic. It's just so, but once I got older, it felt like it's just a love, passionate record. It's so passionate. And it's just like, what was, because Marvin Jr. is singing the lead on this, right?
Yeah, Marvin Jr. and
Marvin is singing lead on it.
Johnny Carter.
I'm like, is he like, is he really in love? Like, you feel him like, girl, stay in my corner, don't leave me. It's like he's begging, but there's still like some passion there. But that was the first time I heard it because I actually got a history lesson from mom. So I will always remember hearing that song, and then the 5 Heartbeats came out. So then when that came out, my mom was like, you know, the 5 Heartbeats is based on the Dells. I'm like, oh, so again, so I will always remember hearing Stay in My Corner for the first time because of that. And it transferred me to so much other stuff. But that, I was with you, Kemani, because I was good when the guy was playing. I forgot, was it Tony Brown? That might have been his name. He was giving me Motown through the roof, and you getting them up tempos like crazy. So when you get to the Flamingos, you like, huh? and then I'm like, you staying there with Stay in My Corner? I'm like, I'm about to go to my room and go play my Nintendo because this here ain't giving me what I need to be given. Like, I'm going back to my room. But then I just heard Marvin Jr. singing like that, and I was like, wait a minute. Okay, I might not want no ballad, but I'm loving this dramatic of it. So yeah, I will always remember when I first heard this song. So
it's funny.
yeah.
Both of y'all as kids, and we talked, and when you were talking about you want to hear the slow tempo stuff, you made me think about Mark Chappelle. He's like that too when he was younger. I was completely flipped the other way.
Wow.
Like at a young age. Like I guess I just, because it's R&B and every R&B ballad got some level of drama to it. Even if it's not really a dramatic singer, it's still it's something that's gonna swell and do something for you. So that's where I was at with it. Then once I got like in my teen years, then I was more into like up tempo stuff. But like at a young age, give me a ballad or like a slow groove. That was my pocket. Yeah. I won't know Hyper Child though.
Oh, I
wasn't either. Oh, you were?
Oh, I were. Oh, yeah. Oh, you can ask my mother. My mother be like, sit down.
I seen pictures of Child when he was little and he looked like he was bad.
I was. My mom, that's why
you know how you look at a kid, you be like, I know that kid.
I just know he was bad.
Yeah. That was like, my mother would be like, because I'm the only child. So it's like, I want to do something. I want to be in something. So I think once, mom got me that Super Nintendo, it was finally able to sit me down somewhere and be like, okay, he's sitting still. But even with the music with her, I want to be up with her dancing and all this. It was just like, I was always hyper, like just hyper. My mom would be like, sit down somewhere. Like, maybe that's why she wanted to teach me history, because she was like, at least he could sit down and listen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, God.
But my favorite part of the song, and just a kiss from you.
Yes. Oh my! So that bridge, I think that bridge is what things really start to roll. Even actually before that, like when Johnny Carter comes in, like he feeds off of Marvin's energy. What did he say? And I will never let you down. Like he was, yeah. And then the high note, stay. And it's funny you brought up the Flamingos because he actually he started out with the Flamingos, and then when Johnny Punches got in that accident, he came in and filled in for him. So like that's kind of ironic how you brought up the Flamingos too.
And he's one of the only few artists that are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice for 2 different acts.
Yeah.
Y'all listen to me. Y'all better right now. Like
this is why I love you on here. But
you nerds, you music nerds, I love it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And then the bridge, and then I think the bridge is really my favorite part because he said, there'll be times when I may fail and I'll need your love to sometimes comfort me. But this is the part I like. Bitter days may prevail, but just the kiss from you will make them sweet. And then they go in that, that's when it's,
Them
Like
horns is wailing on this joint. What?
and then the drummer's playing for his life on that part too.
Listen,
Like, oh
that's why Elisa is so dramatic because
yeah.
musically it is. Like it's so the horn is wailing, the drum is drumming, the singers are singing. Like
Yeah.
everything on this is so dramatic, but it's right in the pocket.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
And it's
Yeah.
so and it's so different from like the original like 65 version. Like it has like that, what do you call that type of, I don't know how you call that type, but it was like that typical like early to mid 60s like skip feel, and it was kind of, you could tell it was kind of, even though it was I think it was a top 30 R&B hit for them, but like I think there was something missing. I think it was intentional for them to re-record it. I forgot the story,
Because then
but
they got a number. Well, they went to another label and on
yes,
Cadet.
oh, that one was, it was on VJ. I forgot.
yes.
Yeah, and then the second.
A lot of people left VJ, but
Oh.
but go ahead.
But yeah, when they got on Cadet, they were encouraged to release it, and then it went to number one, and it was a pop smash as well.
But
Oh,
that, when they did it in 68 again, it definitely kind of gave you what's his name? Oh God, Tom Bell-ish. It gave you a little bit of that of what he was doing with the stylistic and all, who I like now, y'all. I like them. But
not that there was a point that you didn't.
Kemani, for
Oh,
real.
That been a running read I've been giving him for
A
years.
running read. Yes, Kemani. It was what?
Wow.
At least gave me fever. What
I
about
usually
the
don't.
gas?
I usually don't care about people not liking what I like, but only if it makes sense. And it didn't, for what JR likes and is into, and the groups that had their influence, he like After Seven and all that, it didn't make sense for him not to like them. And After Seven was they sons.
Right, right, right. And
Yeah.
then I will always say, because I always said they were the begging group. But I love them motherfuckers right there, them OGs,
them old-
and them was some begging dudes. So Elise was right. I think it was just the fact that, like I said, it was just the imaging of all the groups in the 70s. It was the imaging that it was just like, oh God, here go a bunch, 5 dudes with afros. Okay, got it. Okay, here we go. Like, you know what I'm saying? But now that I've gotten into the stylistics, the dramatics, the this, I'm in. Like, I'm completely in. So when I listen to this now, it definitely gives you like that Tom Bell of what he was doing with the stylistics and all that. So a lot of these producers was listening to each other's stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like they was definitely like, Bobby was listening to what Leon was doing. And we already know Gambling Hunt was already listening to what they were taking over what Holland was doing. So, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, and this 68 too, I think you got the Intruders coming, you got the Delphinus coming. So like there's another pool of groups that's coming on the rise. So like
gotta play that game, man.
And you know what? For this to be such a doo-wop song, it's so much thicker instrument-wise than any, than which I was saying, than the stuff that came out, 65 and previously. So it's just so thick with the instrumentation and complex as well. It's not, it's nothing recycled. It's its own entity,
Right.
Yes. They said that's why I think they put it into the Grammy Hall of Fame, the song, because of the impact that it had musically. You know what I mean? Like, this is a song that I think everybody knows. You know what I mean? Like, you can't deny this joint. So I think the cultural impact that it had, the significance and the impact that it really had, you had to throw this song in the Grammy Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, even though you know how the Grammys play us, but we ain't gonna go there, okay?
And its impact also shows why I said I was introduced to it. Like, I have always loved this song deeply my whole life. I don't remember not loving it and being aware of it.
Right. I just wondered These are the type of songs that I would have wanted to be there where it was being made. You know
Definitely.
what I mean? Like this is
Uh-huh.
one of the songs that I would have been like, I just wanted to see it like from the beginning. You know
Yes.
what I mean? They gave it to, them to sing, and then for
Right.
it to hear the raw version, then it being mixed, and then all that. Like I want to see the transition because
Especially,
what we got with this song was just complete greatness, man. Like,
especially like with Charles Stepney at the helm, like, you know,
yes.
I kind of got a glimpse of his character and how he went about like sessions and stuff through like Philip Bailey interviews and stuff like that. When he was
Mm-hmm.
Point of Fire, he was saying like, man, he was the one to tell Maurice to shut up. Like he was the one, he was. Maurice would say like Charles, like when we were working with Step, like he was the coach, I was the quarterback. So like he gave him that type of respect. That like that's how like so established like Step was at that time. So it's kind of so I can only imagine like how working with the Dells and hearing that original version and then arranging it to lay it out a little more in a lush,
Mm-hmm.
powerful way. Like just to see that process, like that would have been something.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be in the mix of that. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
I would I would try to sing it, but I ain't gonna do it.
Now, have you?
Y'all wanted to be there, but like Zoe always say, be at the studio boring if you ain't actually playing or writing.
I
He
feel.
said very boring.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. I heard that before. Like
Wow.
I heard that before. Like, and then also being in the studio,
Hmm.
being in the studio with Kill, see him creating this stuff.
Hmm.
It's like you hear the end product, you be like, "Oh, that joint is hard." But to be there because they're doing it over and over and over. After a while, you start getting sick of it. You be like, I don't even want to hear this beat no more. Like, I don't care for it no more. You know what I mean? So even though I wish I probably was there to hear the Dells,
Uh-huh.
I probably would have been in the studio, been like, you know what? I'm done. Nah, I'm going home. This is too much. I'm going home. This is too much
Man,
for me.
too
Like,
much.
because we're hearing the ending. So it's like,
Right.
oh, it's so beautiful. And
Mhm.
him, and then Charles putting this all together and have the
Right.
orchestra in there and all of this. It's kind of like, it's like, stop,
Yeah.
do it again. Stop, do it again. Do it again. It'd be like, nah, I'm done. I'm going home. Done.
Man, like I just want to know like what compelled Marvin to hold that note like that.
Listen here.
The many times I try to attempt it and I'll be like, oh, I couldn't make it. It was I remember seeing a documentary. I think it was like a short documentary on the Dells, and Jerry Butler was being interviewed. He was talking about, man, you could leave the house, leave the record on, leave the house, go to the grocery store, grab some milk, come back, and Marvin's still holding the note. Something like that. And that cracked me.
Yeah, that was like a Melba Moore holding note, because y'all know Melba can hold a note
Mm.
now. That lady can hold a note, and that's what he did. It was just like, are you done yet?
And he
Like,
and he held it even longer live, which trips me out too. Like,
oh, I've never heard it live.
they did it. I think, yeah, they did it on the Soul show, and then
Okay.
I think they did it. Did it. Of course, it's one of the signature songs. Of course, they could have. But I think it was like one of the doo-wop specials. I think they did it, or like a live show in some place, like in the mid 2000s. And Marvin was older by that time. He was still holding it like he was 30 years ago. I'm like, dude.
Wow. I'm gonna try to find that. So it's
Yo,
probably one of them PBS specials.
Yeah, and
now, now,
uh-huh.
Kemani, this might be before your time, but JR, I believe it is your time. Remember the commercials, the Time Life specials that they would
Yes.
sell
Uh-huh.
all the doo-wop groups, but not them
Uh-huh.
back then, of them in the 80s, like
Mm-hmm.
early 90s. And they
Uh-huh.
used to
Yeah.
always be on like late night on like BT and stuff, channels like that, late
Yeah.
night when it
Oh
would just
yeah.
run infomercials. And
Uh-huh.
Yes.
to this day, I'm mad I did not purchase none of them because I would have loved to have
Oh,
that now.
And
yeah.
back then,
Yeah.
girl, they had the COD. So, now they be like, no COD. You had a COD, drop it on off. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Uh-huh. Wow.
I deeply regret that me or somebody in my family didn't like buy one of those because I mean they would
uh,
be like 6, 8 hour things. Like they would have all the groups, the white and the black groups.
Wow. That's a,
Mm.
oh.
Damn, regrets.
Right.
I'm gonna see if I can find them. Somebody might have it on eBay or something, or they might still be in circulation. Who knows?
It might be. It might be.
It might
Find
still
that
be in
joint.
print.
Yeah. It might be though.
Hope and pray.
Yeah.
Please. Come on, y'all. Stay in my. Now I'm gonna have to. Now it's in my mind now.
I
Now,
love
thanks,
you.
y'all.
Stay.
Oh yeah, I love that vamp. Oh, I love that vamp so much.
And
That
they do it
Oh
for like 2 minutes, and
yes.
now I'm getting sick of it. I be mad as hell. Stay. And they get a song a little bop you don't expect,
Yeah,
but you're gonna get a
right.
little groove at the
Dun,
end.
dun, dun,
That
dun.
song give you
Yeah.
everything.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Yes. A great build up too. Like
Yeah.
that's how it just builds you up, yo. Like, and then it gets there, and
Yeah.
then once you in, you in.
Right.
That's my favorite part. You stay,
Ah, yeah.
mm,
Oh yeah.
stay,
And then when they fading out, they still going.
Yeah, they
Like
go.
go.
Yeah, all that. I love it.
All of it. Give it, and of course, y'all see the R&B reps will love it. It's very dramatic, so
man.
it makes sense for us to love it.
Yeah, it's a no
I
brainer.
think Kemani was being shady, yo. Now I'm
Right.
starting to think he picked this song because he like they gonna like it anyway because they dramatic as hell anyway. So
Oh
we
no,
go.
no, no. Oh no, 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 no. Nah, I couldn't do
No,
that.
Kemani ain't no dig because we are dramatic. You can own it. That's fine.
Also, I can be a little dramatic myself, so
All right, all
yeah, I
right.
have my moments. I have my moments. So
We've seen
All our
flashes
dramatic
of it.
people.
you see, yeah, you definitely see flash. I can't
Oh, wait. There you go.
even.
Yes. Well, thank you for picking this song, and it's a song that we all hold so dear to us.
Wow.
Like
Yes.
that song's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
knew I would have gotten in trouble if I didn't get this right. Hey, mama.
yeah. Well, y'all don't have to stay in our corner because you can go check out Kamani's corner of the internet. And how about you tell folks where they can find you at?
Oh yes, you can
Like
follow
how
me at
she did that.
Money underscore 0718. That's my birthday. And then my music page, Money.the Music Man. Um, and I plan to actually a few days leading before Thanksgiving. I have a few time in my hands, so I'll be recording some videos. Some posts will be coming soon by maybe a little before Christmas. So hopefully that process is a little faster than I can imagine. So yeah, just want to bring a lot of content out there, for music lovers like me and yo. So yeah,
Yeah. And you could also find Kamani at the R&B Representatives for a year in R&B with Kamani
that's
as
that's,
well.
that's
And that
another
is our
one.
corner.
Yeah, yes it is.
Stay. We love you. Stay. I'm sorry, y'all. But not sorry. But yes, thank you, Kamani. And we like to thank all of our viewers for hanging out with us all the time and cutting up and having fun in the live chat. And appreciate y'all sharing us and keep on doing that. Let people know about us and bring us some more cousins or bring me some more nephews and nieces, however you want to. Family.
Yeah.
Right.
But yes, we will catch y'all on the next Catch That. Peace.
Peace.
Day. Hey y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite R&B song. I am Naturally Elise, and that is my brother.
JR.
And if you didn't know, we are the R&B representatives. And today we are very happy to welcome a new person to the show by the name of Justice. What's up?
Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Good. Yes.
Even better now that you're here.
Yes, I'm glad to hear
So,
that.
before we jump into it and find out what song you picked and all that jazz, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself, as much or as little as you would like folks to know?
All right. Well, my name is Justice. Nothing really too special about me. I'm just, I'm from Iowa, and I'm just the boy who loves music, like R&B music. Like, I love all types of music, but R&B and soul is like my core. That's what I was raised up on. My family is from, they're from the South. They're from Mississippi, so I grew up listening to, like the Temptations, all the Temptations, the Stylistics, all of that. Like that cultivated me. Like my dad used to try to be on his Joe Jackson with me and my cousins. Like when the Temptation movie get out, he would make us do the steps. Jackson movie come out, he would make us do the steps. If one of us got it wrong, he would cuss out, make it do it again. Like it doesn't matter. Like, it was a mixture of us. It wasn't just all boys, it was the girls too. Like we were just all a little mixed group doing the Jackson 5 Temptation steps.
Y'all was the silvers on the low. Let me find
Ain't sound as good, but you know what? We thought we was doing something. So hey,
so
it was fun.
It's like I see you, DeBarge. Okay.
All right. Oh man.
How about you tell us what song that you decided to talk about with us today, and if you remember hearing it for the first time?
All right, so the song I picked to talk about today is a Philly soul classic by the 3 Degrees called "When Will I See You Again." And I remember the first time I heard it. Um, I believe I heard it on the radio on a throwback station. Like I just remember the intro came in with the piano, and it was just such a lush and dreamy feel that caught my ear instantly. And then the harmonies came in. I was just oof. And then I went into deep and deep into their discography, and I became a huge fan of the 3 Degrees. Like I love the 3 Degrees. I feel like they're a very really underrated group and really deserve, to be talked about and bring up to the forefront. So that's why I chose them in that song in particular.
What, JR?
So because I love Philly, so y'all know I love Motown too. So I'm gonna bring it into why when I first heard them, why I thought this. So when I first heard When I See You Smile Again, I thought it was the Supremes at first. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was them because when I first heard it, they had just played Someday We'll All Be Together. And
Mm-hmm.
it has that same type of intro,
Yes.
you know what I mean? And then it comes in with the chorus, and we all know that Mary and Cindy was not singing on it. It was the Dantes.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like I was like, oh, wait a minute, is this a song that I never heard of from the Supremes? Then when I heard Sheila come in, it was like, oh yeah, I know that ain't Diana. I know that ain't.
I was waiting for that
Oh,
train.
honey.
Listen.
Oh, honey. Oh, it was going to happen. But
Tell the truth
so
about it now. Like, let's tell the truth about it.
yeah. I mean, hey. So when she came in, and then the girl, what I like about this song too is how they like you said, Justice. The music was so lush, and then they came in with the harmonies. Like they came in like that. That got you. You know what I mean? Because I love that because it's showing the harmonies and the blends of them. So you're
Yeah.
getting the group, you're hearing the whole group at first. Then Sheila comes in and does her thing, you know what I'm saying? After they sing the hook and she comes in and starts singing. It's just a lush, beautiful type of song and it fit the group because
Yeah.
when you saw them live and they were very glamorous, they kind of really, if you want to say, kind of took over for what the Supremes was doing in the 70s. Because by this time you had Gene there, Gene Terrell, and
Mm-hmm.
Mary and Cindy was there. But it was kind of like now you need something fresh. And these girls were fresh and they kind of looked like, very glamorous what the Supremes was
Exactly.
giving us. Because I feel like Love Unlimited they came out with Walking in the Rain first, and that came out in 72, but it wasn't, the focus was on Barry White's wife. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, she was the focus. At least
Mm-hmm.
with 3 Degrees, you got to focus on all 3 of the girls. Even though Sheila's singing lead, Valerie and what's the other child name? I
Fayette.
fuck with niggas.
Fayette.
Thank you so
The
much.
silver throat
And
soprano.
yes, it's like you can hear all of them. So when I heard that the first time, I was just like, it just feels it's a beautiful song. It's
Yes.
nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? It's nothing wrong with it. So I loved it when I first heard it. So that's why I got to bring Motown into it. Yes, I did. So, screw y'all, whatever.
But definitely, and honestly, y'all, yes. Like when I first started, I thought it was the Supremes too, because it has, like you said, that similar feel. And then when I got to looking up, like, their pictures and their performances, like they definitely, like, it was similar to what the Supremes did in the 60s, but it's like they expounded on it. But the difference was, like, it's like they made it more soulful. And then, like you said, you got to hear all three. Like all three of the ladies were incredible vocalists. Like they all could sing very well.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Like,
and you know, one thing I appreciate about this song, because it has a very soft, almost ethereal feel, and they didn't feel the need to have to belt on it or anything like that, because that's not what the song called for, to get that, to evoke the mood that that song has. Because it's just so like, so it's delicate. When
Mm-hmm.
like it's
yes.
like a hug. It's just really
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
sweet.
It's sweet. It's
Yeah.
very sweet. It's very sweet. And it's crazy that Sheila didn't even like it when she heard it.
No.
And then
She
cuss
was
my
like,
tail out.
yes.
Cuss them
She went,
out.
she cussed Gambling Up out. Like, what is this? Like, I don't want to sing this. She felt like it was just too simple. Because again, these girls came from the church, a lot what we're missing in the music mainstream today. And these girls came from churches, and they want to, they like want to sing down. And I
Right.
think, because mind you, they just coming on, because technically this is their quote unquote first single, quote unquote, with Philly, because they were with other people before them. But, they, mind you, the Soul Train theme song was
Yes.
really when we get to hear them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We just know there's these girls singing on it, but we didn't really know them.
Exactly.
So if you listen to that song, they are singing for blood on that record. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? People are like they going off. And right. And then you get to this, and it's like, when will I see you again? Like, it's so leveled. And I think it was great for Gambling Hub to even do that with the girls, because now, again, you needed something sweet. You know what I mean? I think this is the time where before the change really happened, when we get into the bands was really about to start popping. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And that's why, again, a group like LaBelle ended up having songs like Marmalade that went through the roof, because it was so hard and so but
Yes.
before
Yes.
then, it was like you needed this, and it was the right time to bring out this song for them. You know what I mean? And I just wish the girls would have been really big, so a lot of people would talk about them, because they don't.
Yes.
And like you said, Justice Online, like they do not talk about 3 Degrees. And when you think about all of the '70s groups, you gotta kind of throw them in there, to be honest, because everybody throws like the emotions and everybody starts talking about them. But I'm like, y'all, during this time, the emotions didn't really have hits like that.
Mm-mm.
They didn't start having these hits until like 75, 76.
Yeah, and that's
So
when
it's
disco
like,
started really
no,
popping
no,
off.
no, no. Yeah, like that's when they started popping. So it's like, how do you leave 3 Degrees out? It's not like, even though me and Elise hate when people do this, call them one hit wonders, because technically they're not.
No.
You know what I mean? They're technically not one hit wonders at all. But this is their biggest record. But it's just like, I don't hear them being spoken about when you talk about '70s female groups. It's like, and I'm like, y'all, the harmonies are there, the blends are there. Like, these girls sing for blood, so I feel like they should be talked about more than they do. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Especially how big this song was. and how big this song still is. I've heard this song in so many movies and TV shows and stuff,
Yes.
and it's been covered, and so it's just surprising because it's not like they biggest hit wasn't a huge hit, you know? It's like and still culturally relevant to this day.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And then and that album to me, their debut on Philly, that album has no skips to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
None. Like
Mm-mm.
at all. I feel like because me and Elise love to talk about a track run. Love a track run. We love a track run. And the track run from Dirty Old Man
Ooh, yes.
to Even Win. That track run from that to Even Win is just through the ain't no skips, none of that. And I didn't know which was the B side to When Will I See
Well, I
You
see you
Again.
again. Yes.
Yep, that was the B side. They did that on Sanford and Son.
Mm. They
And they
sure
did it
did.
a cappella.
Yes,
They
they
did it a
did.
cappella, sung it like that. That's why I'm like, yo, these girls was nothing to play with. And I wish just Gamble and Huff would have tried to keep them there at Philly. Because what Elise had told me, which, because Elise is about charts too. She don't play no games about charts either. They were bigger overseas.
They were. And it's just like, and I honestly feel like that's where they kind of lost the plot at over here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not saying, because, you know, I love other music. I like the later stuff too, but I feel like, you know, I feel like they should have utilized, you know, Gamble and Huff definitely a whole lot more. Because, you know, throughout the, you know, actually almost to the 80s, Gamble and Huff was, that later part of was really going, because, you know, they would still make hits with the OJs. And you know, it was, I feel like they definitely could have got some more hits and material with them had they just, you know, still, you know, kept working with them. But you know, I feel like they just went abroad and, you know, just say, well, you know, and just kept it over there. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I like their, you know, I like their record Standing Up for Love, you know, which they did in 77. But I just feel like it still needed it. It's like the Supremes with Holland Doja Holler. When you have that musical fit,
Oh, good God, Jesus.
when you have that good fit, it just, you know what I'm saying? Like, nothing
Magic.
tops it. Nothing
Yeah.
tops it.
Yeah. I think too that also Gamble and Huff had a lot. And it was like, even if Tom Bell was able to work with the girls, that would have been fine.
Yes.
But Tom Bell had the spinners and he had, the stylistics, and he's working with them, and that was his. And then you got Gamble and Huff that got the OJs, and you got, Hal Melvin and the Blue Notes, and then you
Yes.
got Lou Rawls coming in. Then now Teddy's going solo. It's like the OJs and Hal Melvin and the Blue Notes was really they bread and butter, to be
Yes.
honest. And I
Yes.
think the 3 Degrees, the girls kind of got left behind. You know what I mean? And it was just like, if they would have just, they could have even had Benny Singler work with them. Like he could have
Ooh,
worked
yes.
with them just to keep the girls there. It was just
In the
like,
Philly sound, yes.
they could have kept right. It would have still been Philly. But once they left and went to right to the label, that's when things changed because they don't know you like Gambling Huff know you.
Mm-hmm.
Gambling, the label don't know that, you know, Gambling Huff had to fight for the girls to sing Where Will I See You Again? You know what
Yes.
I mean? So the girls are coming there kind of with like, oh, this is our resume, but they don't know them. So they giving them other stuff that just don't fit. You know what I mean? So I just felt like I just wish, because they could have had a run just like the OJs had. If
Absolutely.
Gambling Huff would have really stuck with them and really, because even that second album that they did, and I just got the vinyl for it a couple of days ago. The one with
Yes.
Take Good Care of Yourself and
Yes.
Another Heartache, and they did the Distant Lover joint and
Yes.
cover and all of that. So it was like that,
It was
but
there.
that didn't get the push. It did not get the push that it had. And I think, ugh.
But You heard that later music?
Well,
Pushed or
well,
not, that won't gonna do nothing.
right, right. You're right. You're right. You're
Cause
right.
It was too. It did. I feel like that's all. But then they became too Europe. It became too
Yeah.
the
being.
soul, a lot of the soul was stripped out of it. Cause I heard
Yes.
the song,
Yep.
I had to, I was just letting on shuffle, and I heard a song, and I had a double tap. I was like, "That's them." It was very bland. Now they
Mm-hmm.
still sounded top. They're like it's their voices, but what the hell is they singing? Like, cause the voices was still there, the harmonies
Mm-hmm.
were still there, but everything
Mm-hmm.
else behind it and that songwriting was
The problem, and then they didn't have, you know, MFBS. I hate saying it, but mother.
MFSC.
Yes, thank you. Um, they didn't have that behind them either. That's
Mm-hmm.
another thing. Like
Yes.
all of this, I'm like a song like Year of Decision. You like technically, if anybody else would have did that, that song would have been completely bland.
Mm-hmm.
But with them doing it, it made like it just brought the soul into it. And even
Exactly.
with When Will I See You Again, as lush and beautiful as the song is, it has a soul to it. And
Yes.
to me, the soul in it is when the girls are in harmony and blending. Even though you needed, you know, damn, what's her name? Shit.
Where's your brain?
Sheila. Sheila.
Sheila. Mm-hmm. Sheila, the
Even though
lead.
she was the lead, it was like, to me, it was like, okay, cool. She's leading, she's singing, but it's the soul of their blends and harmonies to me that
Yes.
really made this song for what it was. And I think
Exactly.
once they left, these producers and songwriters didn't know that. They knew that
No.
the girls can sing, they just didn't know the material to give them. Why? Because Gamble and Huff knew them. They knew what to do with them. And I just wish that they would have got, because if they would have said, well, we kind of would have got another one of these. And then they could have eventually started going into that, you know, rockish type of thing if they wanted to gradually. But it just, once they left, it was just like that's why we got so many. If you go on YouTube, y'all, it's a lot of live performances overseas, not
Yes.
here. You see
Yes.
stuff in Norway, Hungary. They did like 2 live albums during that time. Like
Yes.
it was just overseas loved them just like they do now. That haven't changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why our older artists and our older artists can go overseas and make so much money
They're keeping them
because
booked
it
and
really
busy.
doesn't matter. The music they love. It's no imaging, no nothing. The music makes them feel good. They're gonna pay them for it. Here,
Well,
no, no.
the reason for that is
Uh,
um the US of A is a very we like disposable things, not just music, everything. We like our water bottles and we need a new TV show every we gotta binge it. We gotta that's our society is fast, 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 fast,
mhm.
fast. That's not how every place in the world is culturally. The
Facts.
society is different. They hold on to music longer. If when you see people on the charts, they be on the charts long. Not only do the songs are a lot of times bigger or the sales bigger overseas, the run
Mhm.
is long.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I mean, well nowadays, you talk about something a week, but when we were growing up, stuff would kind of hang out for about a year for the big artists, maybe about 3 to 6 months for a smaller artist. While over there, they might be rocking to that song for 3, 4 years or that album. Like
Yeah,
there's not this same rush mentality in other
that's true.
places. So,
That's true. And the
we
girls are just
done with
oof.
somebody. And I'm not saying we
Goodbye.
as me, JR,
But
Yeah.
just
yeah.
we as a culture. It's
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yes.
we
and
done.
music suffers it because music is not supposed to have an expiration.
Exactly.
Boom.
And
Boom.
oof, that is a word.
You know,
Did say yes. I did need the fail word.
yeah, we treat music like a carton of milk. you know, instead of some milk in a can that'll last years. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we treat it like that, and it's not that.
No, and we wonder why we have what we have today. Like, to add on to that, we're so quick, especially for our older artists, our legendary artists. We get to somebody, we just so quick to put them out the pasture. Like, okay, that's
Yeah.
old, that's done with. You know what I'm saying? When like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's because of even I'm 29, and it's because of hearing that music. Like, it's brand new on the radio from my family playing it. It's I grow to appreciate it. And I just feel like it's so sad when we see now lesser and lesser, like, the older music, like the grand time of the 70s, like my favorite era period of R&B and soul music is 70s.
Yes,
Like, it's
yes. Me and you were talking about that on the timeline. Yes, God.
man, telling you,
Yes.
that is
And
the
back to
best period.
yeah, and back to the inspiration thing, like it's so bad that we won't even accept new music from our legacy artists. We won't accept it. We won't even again, we culturally won't
Mm-hmm.
even give it a chance. We won't let them we act funny when they perform a new song at a concert. Don't worry about it. They're gonna get to your fucking song. They're gonna get to your fucking song. One
That
more time.
part.
They are gonna
Okay.
get to your fucking song.
That's
You're
why
not
they
gonna
get
let
to
them.
tour anyway. Hello. Like,
Don't you worry. They gonna sing your jam. They gonna sing the song that you heard a million times anyway. They're gonna get to it, baby. It's gonna be at
yeah.
the end.
Like, let them perform, let them jazz it up. Like, that's why it just be irritating. Like, like, I'm telling you, like, I be trying to stay off Twitter sometimes because people minds just really just show their minds ain't right. And it's just
Yes.
like, because it's just like, like, okay, like, I'm the type of person, like, don't get me wrong, I love this guy, but shoot, they could change it up a bit, like, it's a new song, something, like, what I'm saying, like, okay, why not? It ain't got to be about how it sells. And honestly, the only time we care about charging stuff is when it's to put down another person out. But we don't care about, never care about that we just care about how good it is, and if you rock with it, rock with it. Because a lot of times, what we consider that become classics and hits, really most times they really do nothing on the charts.
Hmm
Through
And
that.
I think about groups like that are that still put out quality, the same high level quality music as they did when they were hot. I think about what was it 3 years ago? After Seven put out an album
Yes.
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 fucking nuts. It's so good.
Me
Portrait
and
put out an
Six.
album that is
Yep.
so solid. Like it. In fact, with the Portrait run, it sound better than the music they had out when they was hot. That's how
I
good.
just
That
yes.
that unfinished business with After Seven. Thank God you said that, sis. Me and Sin still talking about that album today. Like, that's how dope it is. But again, it when we think about our groups, I always bring up Coco, how she said they had two albums that nobody paid attention to. They will go on tour. When y'all gonna sing we? When y'all gonna sing we? So it discouraged the artists because they like, well, why are we gonna make an
And
album
that
when
hurt me
y'all ain't
so
gonna go
much to hear
buy
her
it?
say that, because I was one of the ones. I'm like, but I bought it, I streamed it because I ran both. I missed us and still into the ground.
Me
Like,
too.
like,
Me
I'm
too.
still mad we ain't got a performance of When Love Didn't Hurt. Like, I'm still waiting on that. I tweet that to Lily all the time. Like, listen, y'all need to make that, y'all need to perform at least one time. One time.
Yes. Was I think Lily had to kind of beg, but I mean, because I knew when they were doing the still run, the promo run, she wanted to do It's About Time, and they finally did it on this tour. They
Yes.
finally performed It's About Time. So Lily probably like, look, you know what I mean? But Coco, like she said, it's very discouraging because it's like, y'all, we want to do some of this new stuff for y'all. Like, we want to, but then y'all don't give us nothing when we on stage. And just like Elise said, they're gonna get to the songs that you want, y'all.
I
That's why they're able to tour.
Exactly.
My babies, they gonna sing weak, and I'm so into you. I promise they are.
It's a
Baby,
guaranteed. It's a guaranteed.
they gonna sing they gonna sing Rain and Use Your Heart. I promise you. I can 1,000% guarantee you're gonna hear those 4 songs on the tour. So just
Yes.
chill the fuck out, let it
All
soak
right.
in. And it be the main people talking about I'm this big fan and standing, but you don't even know your own artist that you standing over.
Right.
Make it make
Like
That
this,
sense.
part.
Make it make
exactly.
sense. That's all I
Now
ask.
let them squeeze in. Love is so amazing. Fine time.
You better find. You better
He
find
felt,
time.
come on.
Like,
What?
come on. Like, let them
Oh
throw a
my
deep
God.
cut in there. Like, come on. Like,
Oh, yeah.
And that's why and you know, and that's why the 3 degrees, they stay overseas. They make their
mhm.
money over there.
They
They
ain't
stay
look,
over
hey,
there. They
they
be
ain't look
like,
back.
we ain't got to come over here. We make our money, just like a favorite of mine, Martha Wash. She
Ooh,
stays
yes.
overseas because she was like, the money is great. I could not believe when Salt and Pepper said they was in Germany and they got a show for $85,000.
Amazing.
Like, they ain't getting that over here.
No,
Ain't no
no.
promoter gonna try to get them that. That's what's so sad. That's why, even though it's kind of bittersweet, I look at them performances with the 3 degrees over there, overseas in Hungary and Norway. I was like, I bet that money was thick over there. You hear me?
Okay.
Like, they probably was like, okay, we don't want to come to Soul Train. Forget it. We don't want to come over there because at the end of the day, y'all not respecting us. When you got they performed over there for the Queen. The Queen back in '75, and the Queen wanted them to perform what was
Well,
the song?
it was for Prince Charles's 30th birthday or something like that.
Yeah, yes,
Yes.
and they did Take Good Care of Yourself.
Yes.
Now that ain't even big over here at
No.
all. But over there, it's huge. And they performed it over there. You know what I mean? So it's just like y'all like, oh, like I just hate that. That's why I love actually going overseas. Like when me and my friends went over to Jamaica, right? And the shuttle, the guy came and got us, and he put on the radio, and I was listening to it, and it felt so beautiful to me because they went from a new song, then they went to the 60s, then they went back to the 90s, then they went to the 70s, then they went to 2004. Like it was a melting pot of all of it.
That sounds like one of my playlists. You
Hey
might get
man, that's where I was
everything.
gonna
Okay.
get. Oh,
Okay.
oh, honey, I was getting there because that's like your playlist. It's like Elisa's playlist. It's a melting pot, but it works. You know what I mean? You're gonna make sure the song goes into each of these. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, when will I see you again? Okay, cool. So then maybe after that, go into the OJ Stairway to Heaven. Then go to
Ooh, yeah.
something in the '90s from Jodeci. Then you can you can,
I'm telling you how I
yeah,
vibe.
like
And
it
then
I
just
mean,
works.
and
and
then
the
throw in a
vibes.
and then throw in a song by the fucking internet and then go. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes, like
Exactly.
our radio in the US of A ain't that. It's so programmed. And the only time you even gonna even hear the 3 degrees, it's so sad. I'm so glad. Thank God I just thought about this. Me and my mom listened to we would listen to Music Choice. And we
Mhm.
had this, and we was like, all right, we gonna put on an R&B station. So we listening to the R&B classics, right? And we just like, jamming. I mean, they got some good joints on there, cool. And it was one day, me and my mom actually did want to hear the 3 degrees, right? So after about 3 hours, my mom was like, you know what? I want to hear Solid Gold uh, classics. That's what they call it, a Solid Gold classics on Music Choice. So she turned it on to there, and they playing freaking the Monkeys and the Who and this and this and
Mhm.
this. And why, maybe, baby, 30 minutes afterwards, we heard I Didn't Know
Oof.
on Solid Gold Classics. They never gonna play that song on any throwback mix because now we're 30 years into 1990. They call that old. So you know what I'm
Oof.
saying? So we ain't getting no
Yes.
80s stuff. We ain't getting no
Mm-mm.
70s stuff. And the only time you really gonna get really the 3 degrees if they're gonna play with they're gonna play this song, When Will I See You Again? And
yes,
then
Mhm.
you gonna hear
I was like, if he say when I see you smile again, I'm gonna punch him through this camera.
This ain't DVD. My bad. This ain't DVD. My bad, y'all. That's a dope ass record too, y'all. But but you ain't gonna hear that, and that's why I feel so bad for the girls. But you can't knock them because their legacy is still gonna be stamped. Because anytime you listen to Soul Train, you hear them.
Like
you're gonna hear the 3 Degrees. So that's why I'm like, you cannot not talk about them girls.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is their biggest record. Fine. You know what I mean? It's their biggest song. Fine. But their legacy has been stamped because of Soul Train. Yes. You know what I mean? Like they can't be denied. Like you can't. You know what I mean? And then Love Is a Message is now such a culture. You know, it's so huge. It wasn't a big record then, but now it's just such a cultural classic for us.
Exactly.
They're on it. So they're 3 Degrees is stamped, and you can't deny that. You know what I mean? So
yes.
And we can thank, and for Love Is a Message, we could thank the LGBT community for making that song stick around.
Okay.
Hello. Come on. And that's and Love Is a Message is the Brooklyn national anthem. Me and my mom always say that. And she said back then in the 80s, that's you play that, you riding through Brooklyn, you're gonna hear that. I wasn't born then, so I can just say it was a national anthem. She goes in anytime that record is played, my mom will be like, Brooklyn national anthem. That's just what it is. So seeing all of this, y'all cannot leave 3 Degrees out when you're talking about 70s girl groups. You just can't. No. You just can't, because I think all of the groups was in this predicament as far as hit songs. You know what I mean? I think all of them. Love Unlimited had Walking in the Rain, right? Yeah. Then you had the Emotions that didn't really hit until everybody know them for Best of My Love. Even though they had a little stuff before then, they was with Stack. People don't think about that. They just think about that. So what other group in the early 70s was doing the damn thing? I'll wait.
Exactly. Can't say the Supremes because like nobody even mentions the nobody even mentions the 70s. Like even though Up the Line to the Roof, I love that song, but that ain't coming up in the conversation.
Nope.
Nobody talks about the Supremes unless, the boss, Miss Ross, is involved.
Yes. They lead, they don't talk about Gene. Even though Up the Ladder to the Roof was a big record. That was big. Floor Joy was a big record for them. But ain't nobody talk about the 70s Supremes. They're not. So how y'all gonna not talk about the girls that kind of took over for what they were doing to this new, and it was fresh, it was different. The girls were young, it was that, and they were hitting. Yeah. So how y'all gonna? I hate that. So when you said you wanted to talk about them, I was like, please come on the show so we can talk about them, because 3 Degrees is not discussed, and they need to be. Period.
Well, they are. We are right now, so we can get
Boom.
off that.
Okay.
But,
there it is.
Yes.
We can get off that train. We are talking about those groups that get overlooked. We talk not just them. We talk about a lot of groups that that don't get the shine that we feel they deserve.
Yes.
That part.
We talking about it, and we gonna keep on talking about it.
Okay. I love it.
Cause I leave this planet, I'm be talking about it.
Okay.
And I ain't going nowhere for a minute, so
come on, somebody. You ain't.
All right now. All right now. Yeah. I was glad to really come on here because I'm like, because like I said, because I've been watching because I'm a fan of the show, and I like because partially because we here talking about R&B is that, well, it's not that, it never will be, because it's always created, but you talk so much about mainstream, it's just like, well, you know what, y'all make it a point to like, well, this is ours, we control, let's talk about it, shine a light on it, and it's gonna keep it alive. And so that's why I really was like, so when opportunity to really bring it to the forefront, because I said I've been on a 3 Degrees, like you go to my Twitter, like I have a pin thread.
Yes, and there's no lies.
Like I'm pushing the agenda.
I hear that. I know that's right. I know that's right.
in the more we do this and find the other people, you know, that love it and build that community. We don't
Mhm.
have to say nobody's talking about it because we're gonna have a legion of people talking about it. There won't be no need to say that.
Exactly.
Amen.
So
Exactly.
strange, so I can't get that out of my head.
We should talk about that one too, Freshman Man too, because that is, cause yeah, because that's such a, they're like love so trained, and like I said, you're always gonna hear that do 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 do.
Yes.
Yes.
And they singing hard blood. You hear me? Like they're helping them was like a little higher. Can y'all go a little higher?
And nothing about them I love about 3 Degrees General. It's just like as you saying, like their performance, like those harmony, like they best believe what you hear on the record, what you hear them do on the record, they are doing it live,
Mhm.
note for note, bar for bar. Like it's like just how tight their harmonies are. Like I was gonna watch. It was in my thread of their performance when they came with that. Ooh, I'm like, ooh, yes. Like it's still just as lush, just as that tight. Like I'm telling you, that's
Yeah.
We
like
thank you.
they're like.
You
Oh,
oh,
my
go ahead.
apologies.
No, no, go
Like
ahead.
I was saying, like they're giving like I love them because of that, and they put me in their like a '70s version of my '90s favorite group, In Vogue. Like they're like a '70s version of like In Vogue is my top favorite girl group of all time, number one. I feel like they're mad underrated, but that's for another episode.
Woo! Listen. Mm.
Well, we thank you, and I'm about to say the corniest joke ever. And I think we really did this song justice. So
Oh my God.
I love it. I love it.
Bang, bang, bang.
we hope you would come back and talk about another song. Cause I'm
Oh,
like,
for
when I'm gonna see
sure.
you again? When I'm gonna see you again?
Nice. Oh, so when will we share precious moments?
Moments. Yes, you better. You better.
Hopefully sometime soon, sometime soon, whenever I
Well,
really enjoy.
you got the calendar now, so a
Yes,
date whenever you want. Let's do it. Let's
for
do it.
sure. I really enjoyed my time. I enjoyed this discussion with you guys. It's been fun. Like, I love talking about music, and this is the first time really be able to talk about it to in depth. With
Yes.
somebody. It's plus I had to shine out on my girls, the 3 degrees.
Yes, of
And
course.
they're celebrating their 60th anniversary of being in the industry, like 60 years. That is amazing, and they're still
Hmm.
touring, still going strong. And I'm like, yeah, like we need to come back for our girls. They've been in Europe too long. Let's bring them back. Let's come back for them. Like y'all
Yes.
loved over here. Y'all are loved over here stateside.
Yes.
Yes. And before we get out of here, if you would like to be found, where can folks find you on these internet streets?
So yes, you can find me on Twitter. My at Afro Blue Soul 94. I believe it's Afro Blue Soul 94. Or on Twitter. I'm always not you. Most of the time, you're just gonna see me retweeting music and talk about music, and and that's where I mostly be at, and pushing my 3 degrees, 3 degrees, and any other girl group or musical agenda. I feel that needs to be pushed.
Love it.
Uh,
Love it.
yes, we thank you, and we also thank all our viewers, especially the folks in the live chat that chop it up with us, and it's just a good time. It's a family. We a family. Bring us some more cousins by liking, subscribing, and sharing, and all that stuff. And we will catch y'all on the next Catch That. When will we see you again? Next Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See?
Peace.
Bye.